Welcome back to Grow with Manny. Today's food for thought is going to be on the power of acceptance during tough times. Now, have you ever found yourself standing at the crossroads of life, feeling lost and overwhelmed when things don't go as planned? Maybe you've asked yourself, why is this happening to me? It's like being caught in a storm where the winds of confusion and stress swirl all around you, making everything feel heavier than what it really is. Now, I want you to imagine you're a ship sailing in a vast ocean. Suddenly, the dark clouds they gather. The waves they begin to crash around you. Panic it sets in, and you grip the wheel tightly, trying to steer against the storm. But what if, instead of fighting the tempest, you chose to navigate through it? What if you turned your ship towards the wave, trusting that you could ride them out? Acceptance isn't about surrendering to our circumstances. It's about acknowledging them and choosing to move forward. Now, let's take a moment to reflect on the power we hold over our feelings and thoughts. Each morning, consider starting your day with a few moments of reflection. Picture it as watering a garden. When you nourish your mind with positive ideas, you help it bloom, right? Making it easier to accept whatever challenges the day may bring. Perhaps you could create a morning ritual. Light a candle, sit quietly, breathe in deeply. Visualize the sun rising in your mind, illuminating your thoughts, and filling you with warmth. It's a simple practice. It can act like a shield against negativity as you step into the world. Now, let's dive into a practice that can truly change our lives. Self-acceptance. It's like looking at a mirror, right, and embracing the reflection, no matter how cracked it may be. Accepting ourselves means being kind to who we are, especially during tough times. If you're feeling low about your job or your relationships, give yourself a break. Acknowledge where you are without guilt, as if you're wrapping yourself in a warm blanket on a cold day. Now, think about a time when you were really hard on yourself. Maybe you missed a deadline or had a falling out with a friend. Instead of beating yourself up, imagine comforting that part of yourself like you would a dear friend. You wouldn't tell them they're a failure, right? You remind them that everyone makes mistakes. This practice of self-compassion is a vital step in accepting ourselves. Next, let's talk about accepting others. This means stepping back and letting go of our ego. Consider how often we get caught up in our differences, our age, our gender, achievements. It's easy to judge others based on superficial traits. But when we learn to accept people as they are, we create room for understanding. Now picture a garden, right? It's filled with various flowers. Some bloom early, while others take time. Each flower has its own beauty, just like each person has their own journey. Now, while we can't change others, we can choose to accept them for who they are. This doesn't mean we tolerate negative behavior, no. Rather, we shift our perspective from judgment to curiosity. Ask yourself, what can I learn from this person? The simple shift can build bridges rather than walls. Now, when faced with challenging situations, we can train our minds to shift gears. Instead of getting stuck on the question, why is this happening? We can ask, this is what it is, so what's next? It's like turning a page in a book, right? The chapter may be tough, but the story still continues. By acknowledging the situation and moving forward, we prepare ourselves to tackle future challenges with clarity. Now, let me share a recent experience that really drove this lesson home for me. Just last weekend, I was waiting at a red light when suddenly a scooter crashed into my car. The impact it yelled to me and my heart it raced. I came out and found the other driver getting up from the ground. Now, in the heat of the moment, he assured me he was fine. But then he ran away, leaving his scooter behind. When the police arrived, I took a moment to assess the damage. My car, it looked pretty rough, but it was still drivable. I found myself caught in a whirlwind of emotions. Yes, dealing with the insurance was going to be a hassle, and I know that I would have to pay a really big deductible. But as I reflected on what happened, right, I realized something important. I couldn't control the other driver's action or the damage to my car. What I could control was my reaction. It reminded me of a quote I once heard. Life is 10% what happens to us and 90% how we react to it. Now, this perspective shift can be a powerful tool. Instead of wallowing in frustration, we can choose to focus on what we can learn from these experiences. Now, this experience, it reminded me of a powerful message from Eckhart Tolle in his book, The Power of Now. One of his key teachings is about being present and accepting the current moment. When we question our circumstances, like I did right after the accident, we often create additional suffering for ourselves and for others. Tully teaches us that suffering arises from our resistance to what it is. Now, it makes so much sense to me. Now, instead of asking, why is this happening to me? We can shift our focus, acknowledging the situation, like the damage to my car and the other driver's flight, allowing us to save our energy for what comes next. When we accept the present moment, we can respond more effectively. Now, this practice of self-acceptance, it aligns beautifully with Tully's notion of being fully present with ourselves. By embracing who we are, especially in challenging times, we cultivate a sense of peace. This acceptance, it can extend to others, creating compassion and understanding rather than judgment. Ultimately, both my experience and Tully's teaching encourages us to release our attachment to how things should be, embracing reality as it empowers us to move forward with resilience, transforming challenges into opportunities for growth. Now, acceptance doesn't mean we have to like what's happening. It means we're choosing to face it with a clear mind and a hopeful heart. So, let's practice acceptance together and see how we can transform our lives for the better. As we wrap up today, I encourage you to reflect on one situation in your life when you can actually practice acceptance. Maybe it's a difficult relationship, a job you're not happy with, or a personal challenge. Write it down and think about how you can shift your perspective. Do you have any moments that you found the power of acceptance work for you? Please share in the comments. Remember, life's waves may sometimes crash hard, but with acceptance, we can learn to surf them gracefully. Thank you for joining me today. If you found value in this message, please make sure to like, to subscribe, and most important, please share. Together, let's embrace the journey of acceptance. Until next time, take care and keep your shining light.